Hi friends, I'm Brett Culp. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I've traveled all over the world capturing amazing stories. My films have been featured on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and iTunes. A couple of my projects are Legends of the Night, which is a documentary film about people who were inspired by Batman to do incredible things in the world. Another one is Look to the Sky, which is a film about young people who've done incredible things in the world and expressed the spirit of Superman. And this film actually has a companion book that goes with it called Look to the Sky, a companion to the documentary film. And it's been a wonderful adventure for me to create these films. Now, documentary films are different than some of the films and movies you might be used to, the films that you typically see in a theater. So many of those films, someone writes a script and then they hire actors or voices, and then they go out and film with cameras, or maybe they animate it in a studio to create all the wonderful stories that you see in those films. So those are kind of scripted stories. Many of those are fictional stories. Some of them are nonfiction, but many of them are fiction with made-up characters and made-up worlds that those people are part of. Well, as a documentary filmmaker, my world's a little different. I'm not telling stories that are fictional. I'm telling nonfiction stories. I'm telling stories about real people in real places doing real things. And I travel all over the world to find these stories, to uncover them, to search for them, and then to capture them in my films so that I can share them with you. So if you've ever seen a movie or a short that was telling a real story about a real person, that's documentary film, and that's what I do for a living. People ask me how I got started doing this work, and they wonder if I went to film school, or if I had an education, or if I live in Hollywood, and the answer to all those questions is no. It's no. I did not go to film school. I do not live in Hollywood. In fact, right now I'm sitting in my office in Florida talking to you. I've learned over time you can make movies anywhere. So then they ask me, well, Brett, if I don't need to go to film school and don't necessarily need to go to Hollywood, how do I start? What do I do? How did you start? Well, the answer is that when I was young, when I was like 10 years old, my dad brought a video camera into the house. Now, when I was young, you had to have like a special video camera. Today, you don't need that. Today, if you have a phone, you have a camera. You have an amazing camera. In fact, with just a phone or a tablet, you have a better camera than I had when I started out. And I just started making projects. I started making little films, and I didn't wait for someone to give me permission or to give me money or to ask me to do it. I didn't wait till I had a job doing it. I just started doing it. I just started making movies, and I would recruit friends in the neighborhood, family members, cousins, people I went to church with, people that I knew from all over the different parts of my life, and I would say, hey, I want to make a movie. Would you be part of it with me? And they would help me make these movies. Now, I want to tell you something, and I don't want you to laugh, but I got to tell you this because it's true, and maybe it can be a secret between me and you. Those first movies I made, they were terrible. Like, terrible, so awful. Like, if I watched them today, I would be so embarrassed. In fact, I'd be so embarrassed to show them to you. They were so bad. But here's what happened. I made the first one. Oh my goodness, so bad. But then I made another one because I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. And so I made another one. And you know what? The second one, it was a little better than the first one. And then I liked it, and so I made a third one. And that third one, it was better than the second one, which was better than the first one. And you can probably see where this is going now. I just kept making them. I made them over and over. I made more, and every time I made one, I learned something in the process. I got better. I got more knowledgeable, and I figured out how to do this and do that, and I would watch movies that I loved, and I would kind of use the ideas and the different things and got inspired by that. And that's how I learned, one step at a time. So if you were asking me today, like, how would you start to become a filmmaker? Maybe you want to make documentaries that tell real stories about real people. Or maybe you want to write your own scripts and get friends together as actors and make little movies. And so if you're asking me, how do you start? Here's my answer. It's real simple. Grab whatever camera you have today. Maybe it's just your phone. It doesn't matter. And just start. Just start. There is a camera probably in your phone, and within your phone there are apps. There are free apps that you can download that will allow you to edit the videos that you make. Some of them you can add titles, you can add music, and it doesn't take but 5 minutes of Google searching to find out where those free apps are and what you can do with them. I would have killed when I was young to have those apps available to me. And here's what'll happen. The first film you do, not so good. It'll be pretty bad. In fact, you might even be embarrassed to show it to people because you might be like, this is so terrible. Don't worry about that. Just make it. And then if you loved it, or take the things that you loved about it and make your second one. And then your third one. And what you'll find is that every step along the process, you get better. You get more knowledgeable, you get more insight. Now, what I just said, that's pretty much true about anything you want to create. It doesn't matter. Maybe you don't want to be a filmmaker, maybe you want to be a painter or an artist or a musician. Maybe you want to be a writer. Maybe you want to be a teacher or a speaker or whatever it is that you want to do in your life. That concept still applies. You've got to put in the hard work to learn your craft, to understand it. Many people think that like if they love something or they're excited about something, they should be good at it like right now. And that's never the way it works. It always takes a lot of hard work and determination. And many of the people that you see succeed in life, they didn't succeed because they were naturally talented or they had a natural gift and they were born able to do these things that they do. No. They practiced and practiced and practiced. The professional athletes and the professional dancers and anybody that does anything well in the world does it because of the time they spent that you never saw learning and honing their abilities and their skills over time. And that's exactly what I did, and that's what I recommend. Now, sometimes people ask me what kind of stories do I tell in my films and what kind of stories am I excited about? Well, here's the thing. In my career, I've met celebrities, I've met high-profile people, famous people, professional athletes and actors from Hollywood and all kinds of famous people over time. But the stories that have inspired me the most, they've never been the stories about famous people. It's always been the stories of average, normal people, people that you've never heard of. And most of my films, when you watch them, they're not about famous people. They're about normal, everyday people who've done extraordinary things. People who were ordinary, but created something extraordinary in life. Because that's what inspires me, not the famous people, but the people who weren't famous, but who still believed and did something incredible with their lives. And those stories have changed my life. They've inspired me so much. And so what I'm looking for in my films are stories about the beauty within all of us. Not just the special and extraordinary stories that maybe make the news or that become famous or that get movies made about them typically, but just normal people like you and me that are inspired, that do something good, that make a positive impact. That's what makes a huge difference for me. And I've loved sharing films like those around the world because I think what they do is they inspire everyone that watches them to feel heroic, to feel like there's something wonderful and inspiring and encouraging within them. And that makes me so happy. That brings me so much joy. So if that's exciting to you, if anything that I've said is exciting to you, I would love for you to check out my films and my movies. And you can just Google my name. My name is Brett Culp. And if you Google that or search for that on the internet, you'll find my films, my work, lots of videos on YouTube and places like that about things that I love and that I'm passionate about. You can discover that. And you can also learn more about my filmmaking work and how I do it and go behind the scenes with me in different places in my social media accounts, or watch my films and see these amazing stories, because that's where you are. I make these films not just for me, but for everyone, including you, to know that there's incredible beauty and light and wonder and magic within you, and that if you're willing to believe and have faith that there is good ahead for you, and that there's lots of potential and possibility within you and your story, that you can accomplish incredible things that not only lift your life up, but inspire the people around you. So, thank you for being an inspiration every day, just by being you and being who you are. And I hope that you will share your gifts and your stories with others in whatever way you find yourself inspired to do that. So, thanks for being a hero, and I hope you have a beautiful day.